money's on the screen tonight. Secrets out in plain sight. Luxury homes at half the price. Making dreams.
Hey everyone, it's been a long time. I was traveling in Europe. I'm back. I took a vacation. I'm glad about it. I think everybody needs to take a vacation. In fact, I'll tell you something. I was shocked when I found out that average American doesn't take a vacation during the summer, because most of the world does take a vacation. But anyway, this video is going to be a little personal for me, because I'm going to talk about my own experiences, and I think that this is something that would happen in every person's life on different levels.
Imagine getting bitten by a snake, and instead of helping yourself recover from the poison, you chase the snake and try to find out why. You try to prove to the snake that you didn't deserve to get bitten. We often dwell on the source of our pain, seeking validation or answers from those who hurt us, rather than focusing on healing ourselves. In doing so, the poison continues to spread, causing more harm. True healing begins when we stop seeking explanations from the outside and turn our attention inward to recover and grow. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. The longer you hold on to it, the more you end up hurting yourself. Forgive, not for them, but for ourselves. This doesn't mean we condone the hurt. It means we choose peace over pain, growth over grudges.
So if you would be prepared for the stress tests that you would have in life, things benefit you significantly. I decided so far, I think I had 4 big stress tests in my life, and I'm going to just share them with you guys. First of all, this is going to be some kind of lessons that I've learned, and I think that it would be great if I would be able to share them with you so that you would possibly learn them and not make same mistakes. Let's proceed. So I have a biography video on this channel. I pretty much talked about where I'm from, how I grew up, what kind of family I'm from. So if you guys watched it, I'm going to be very brief. If not, I would appreciate if you will go back and see it. It's pretty much talks about who I am, where I'm coming from, and my experiences in life. It's pretty short. Now, I grew up in a middle class, I would say middle lower class family in the country that was just, I was born in Soviets, and Soviets collapsed when I was like 6 years old, and everything was nuts. Imagine that the country didn't have money that they would be able to use in their own state. The state didn't have money that they would be able to use in their own country. I mean, economics was ruined, people were crazy, war and everything. So anyways, it was pretty tough experience, although thank God I had that, and I had a mom. I still have them. I love them both. I think this is a true blessing if you have both parents. That gave me some kind of, I wouldn't say spoil, I wasn't a spoiled kid, but overall the experience I had growing up was very nice. I mean, I always had attention on me, and that kind of, didn't give me hardships of life, because, parents they're kind of a shield and they protect their kids. And I also had a great families from both sides, uncles, aunts and everything. Until up to 17 years, I grew up kind of spoiled. I wouldn't say like materially spoiled, but I never, I didn't have a tough skin. I never got into actual fight. Was in actual trouble. Now 17, I go to overseas. I got a scholarship in Ukraine, and I went there to study. It was kind of dormitory living type of life. I couldn't even cook, couldn't wash my stuff. Pretty much was like a baby. Now, what happened is I had a significant conflict with almost all the guys that I was living there. It was 25 of us on the same floor, and that kind of was a break test for me. Now, I call it a breaking point. I think everyone sooner or later, especially men, I don't know, I'm not sure about the ladies, but the men will definitely have the test. Some people have it in the army, some people have it in college. Now, I had it in college, and that overnight turned me to the grown man. From the kid to the grown man. Now that was that was the greatest stress test I've ever had in my life so far. It wasn't something significant. It was just the kids, most of the kids that were studying there, either they didn't have the same privileges, some of them didn't have moms, and some of them didn't have fathers in their household. Some of them didn't have any parents. Some of them were coming from the, war zones. And I was pretty much the only kid, or one of 2-3 kids there, that had everything. Both parents, war zone life, pretty much normal standard life. And I was kind of spoiled. I was trusting every other person that I would meet. which is obviously crazy thing to do. You have to keep distance with people, especially those you don't know. And eventually, if you discover that they're normal guys, you can start contact with them. What ended up happening, I pretty much fought with every single one of them, and I was really close because they were complaining to the embassy of my country, which was pretty much issuing the scholarship back in the day. I was this close to be sent back home and get dropped from the college. And that would be a tragedy for my family because it never happened. Everybody in my family had their own degree. And if you don't know, in Soviets it was pretty common for normal families to grow up, finish the school, go to the college. We had 100% literacy rate. Now this is a big thing. Luckily, I managed to somehow get out of that situation, but that was biggest thing that happened in my life that changed me like this. Overnight, I became a different person, and I think everybody sooner or later, as I said, they will have this test in their life. It's really important to understand, not to break. That's why I call it breaking point. Some people might break, some people might commit suicide. You get bullied. It's pretty much known phenomenon that bullying causes suicide rates. This is very important to understand that whatever happened in your life, this is not the end of your life. There's always an exit. And if you understand that, if you find that exit from that breaking point, trust me, you will become 10 times, 100 times stronger man that you were before. Thank you for watching, and I would like to mention that this video is sponsored by my company. We help landlords to maximize their rental income. Normally, we take the property, say it's been rented for $3,000, we'll help landlord to make about $5,000 and charge about 10% from the profits. This is what we do. If you guys interested, if you're a landlord and looking for that company that would help you with getting more rent, just letting you guys know, I'm also a realtor in California. Any part of California you're looking for real estate, property for yourself, live with a family, or for investment, I'm your guy. Feel free to hit me up in the DM. I appreciate that test. I appreciate what happened. Could be much worse, maybe better, but that made me who I am today. That gave me a chip on the shoulder. After that experience, I got some really, really good friends. Still, I'm talking to them. I think best friendships I got was during those years because I was able to see how cruel people could be. I mean, it wasn't something crazy. Obviously, no one would try to kill me or anything. But overall, people around me were wishing evil on me. They were trying to, harm me somehow. And that was a very good experience for me to learn. Every person that has this type of experiences, they should learn from it. Not get weaker, not give up, but learn from it. Second experience I had, a stress test I had, was probably 10 years ago or so. I did something bad. Not that I committed a crime or something, but I ended up in a situation where one of my family members would not want me to be in. I would not tell what it was, but it was a really pleasant situation, and it was a very close family member of mine. Had a break point in our relationships. It was so bad that I pretty much we didn't communicate for about a year or 2 or 3. It ended up as a lesson that I learned that eventually, if you're a family, it means you are 5 fingers of one hand. I mean, you cannot cut the hand. You can break the finger, have it somehow damaged, but eventually it will come back. Now, the family is like that. If you will have some kind of conflict in your family, it's going to be a huge stress test for you and your family member. Remember, sooner or later it will pass. It shall pass, as the book says. Was it tough? Definitely. Was it something I could learn from? Do people commit suicide in that type of situations? You won't believe. That family member of mine, he was suspicious that I would commit suicide, but unfortunately, I had a very rough skin thanks to this experience that I had about 20 years ago, I want to say, and that shaped. Now, the third test that I had was a betrayal test. I want to say it was somewhere around 15 years ago or so. I had a very close friend of mine, very close friend, probably the closest friend of. I got betrayed. I found out about it in emails by chance. I was not meant to see that certain email. And he left his laptop open. I was just passing through the office. We were working together. And I saw that guy was selling our insider information. Back in the day, I had a business, educational business, to our competing company. That was shocking to me. How, why, thousands of questions. The business side of things was not important to me as much as the relationship type of things, because I found out that people are able to lie into your eyes, smile into your eyes, say that they love you, but sometimes they stab you in the back. And you have to be ready for that. I mean, Luckily, I had already the worst experience in my life where I had a breaking point. You know, I became a man. That helped me a lot after to live through the other experiences I had in life. This was one of the worst. I would say I had like a 4 bad experiences, rough experiences, stress tests. Everybody calls it different names, but overall, I think it's been the same thing. This was one of the worst things that happened to me. But again, you know, I learned that this is actually an advice that my father gave to me when I had this first horrible experience when I was 17. When I came back to my country and we were speaking, he's not a big speaker, he doesn't like to speak a lot, but we had this, you know, short conversation when he asked me, hey, why do you think that happened to you? Like the first thing, remember I was telling about the college, you know, I had to fight with almost everyone. And I said, I think I trusted everyone that. And the thing that he told me, it had me to go through the mind shift. He told me, you do not have to trust anyone, even me. And I was like, hey, wait a minute, you're my dad, how can I trust you? And he was like, one day I will be gone. Don't ever trust no one for 100%. Always leave a room, everything can happen. We're human at the end of the day. Excellent. And the fourth experience that happened to me, it actually happened to me a couple times, the death of the loved one. Every time this happened, I mean, it's literally impossible to prepare for it, although we understand that someday we will be gone, but literally almost impossible to prepare yourself for especially if that, you know, sudden sickness or something like that, for someone to be gone. Even the worst sicknesses people have, we still have hope. That's the thing with us, with humans. We never lose hope. And that's the right thing to do. But whenever you lose a loved one, something inside of you, you know, breaks and just leaves you. And this is a very strange experience. I was listening to Sadhguru lecture about it the other day, and he was telling that the feelings that we have are actually inside of us. It's not that we're missing that certain person, we're missing the experiences that we had with that person. I think that stress test is pretty much really impossible to prepare for. But what you can do, you can have your friends, your family, to support you, spend time with them, and this will eventually help you out. This was a very personal video, guys, something that not typical for our channel. I really hope that it really would be helpful for you in your lifetime and your experiences, and I would appreciate if you would subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet subscribed, and put a like, and make sure to leave the comments what do you think, what was the stress test for you in your life, and I would love to discuss it. Have a good one. See you on the next one.
Game money's on the screen tonight. Secrets out in plain sight. Luxury homes at half the price. Making dreams oh so nice. Click that play button now. He'll show you all the how.